We thought we'd better do some sort of introduction. As you can see, we've already started our fit out, but we wanted to tell you how we got to this point. So, where did we start?
Right. Well, it all started actually a very, very long time ago. I used to work at Anderton Marina on the High Fleet during the weekends when I was a student. It was great fun. I learned an enormous amount about boats from doing various repairs and things, and it was always one of those things that I knew I'd return to at some point. So that's kind of where it started, but generally we've always enjoyed being by water.
Yeah, we've been on various holidays on the Broads.
Even if it's the seaside,
day
whether
boats,
it's lakes, whether it's rivers, whether it's canals, we've always enjoyed being by water. It's always been our preferred thing.
Walking the dogs by the water.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been everywhere, haven't we?
All sorts.
We had lots of holidays in Cornwall. Always did the bodyboarding. We did kayaking. We did kayaking on the Fowl River.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened was, our friends invited us to go to Churchfield Marina.
Well, our holiday in Norfolk on the Broads got cancelled, COVID. So we ended up at Churchfield.
Yeah, sorry. So we ended up going to Churchfield. Churchfield's a lovely place. Look it up on the internet. It's really, really nice. It's basically a marina with a whole bunch of holiday flats built around the outside. We had a really, really nice week there, didn't we?
It was lovely. And the worst thing is, well, because you're sat surrounded by boats, you start Googling the price of boats. And we always thought a narrowboat was out of our price range.
Yeah, we never really imagined that we'd be able to afford a narrowboat at that stage in life.
Yeah. But a little cabin cruiser, a little GRP cabin cruiser was in, surprisingly, of our budget. So we came back from Churchfield, and the next minute we kept looking at them, and we'd gone to see a few, and then along came Moonlight. We'll show you some photos of Moonlight. So she was lovely.
Moonlight was a 23-foot Norman, fiberglass GRP cruiser, outboard motor. It came to us.
Yeah.
We loved it to bits.
Yeah. We spent every holiday on her, every weekend.
And we made various improvements. We just got a whole bunch of stories about adventures of Moonlight.
Yeah.
Including some engine troubles, which you always get. It's a boat after all. So we did all of that, and after being on the canals for a while, we really realised that actually we want to be on the canals properly.
We just fell in love with it.
The Norman was great for holidays,
but we wanted something a bit more permanent.
But for something a little bit more permanent and a little bit more secure.
Yeah, and I think with the Norman as well, one thing that I did struggle with is obviously you have a petrol outboard, and we had to carry petrol, we had to queue up at petrol stations with our jerry cans, getting more petrol.
It was a bit of a mission sometimes.
And
best place in the world is Grinley Brook, because the petrol station is right next to the canal and ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, Roberts,
Roberts. DA Roberts.
DA Roberts.
And they're literally at Grinley Brook locks.
So we loved the canals, we loved the marina life, but we just wanted something a bit more. And also with a view towards both of us heading towards retirement at some point. Yeah.
And we wanted to have a boat that we could just get on and go.
Yeah.
Really.
And we
off around the canal system, wherever we want to go.
Watching so many vloggers, hats off to them. It's taken us so long to get to this point where we're actually doing an introduction. Because it just takes so long to vlog. I mean, it's
it does.
We'll do it today, and then the next minute.
It takes a lot of time. The other thing as well is it makes your jobs.
Busy with work.
Yeah, your jobs on the boat take a lot longer.
Yeah, you have to suddenly think, we should film this. We should take some pictures.
Yeah.
And it's like you just want to get on work. So
anyway, so we started to look at how we could get a steel narrowboat.
And our budget was quite limited.
Our budget was limited, or at least our available budget was limited. So we started to look at some second-hand narrowboats, but we very, very quickly realised that I know what would happen if we got a second-hand narrowboat. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a tinkerer, and I like to improve things. So what would happen is we would buy a second-hand narrowboat, we'd go, oh, perhaps we'll update the bathroom, and we'd take the bathroom out. And then as you do, some of the wallboards come out, and then the floor comes up, and you find the floor's a bit rotten. So you take the floor up, and then you take the ballast out, and you find that there's some rust under there.
And you treat
so
it.
You start to treat that, and then you paint it. And before you know it, you've stripped your entire boat out. We've seen quite a few people do that on YouTube, and whilst it's extremely entertaining, it's not really something we wanted to do.
And also,
and if you're going to do that, you can do all of that work, and it costs a lot of money to do that work, and you're still ending up with a 20, 30-year-old boat.
Which is what our budget would allow us to buy.
So we started to have a little look around, and we realised that we could afford a steel shell to fit out ourselves. We're starting from scratch anyway. So to some extent, some of the costs will be spread over the years that we're doing this. And that makes it affordable to us. But basically we figured out that we could have a steel shell and go from there. And we started to look at steel shell builders.
Talking to people on the marina, I think as well, where we were based, every day when we opened the curtains, there was this beautiful boat opposite us, and that had been a shell and a home fit out. And you just get talking to people on the marina, and they're so, loving about their boats, and they're so eager to tell you their story. And we just sort of fell in love with it, didn't we? And then we started looking at boat builders.
The other thing to say as well is we've always liked the traditional style of narrowboats. Now I mean that in terms of the physical looks, not necessarily a traditional stern. Traditional sterns do have limitations, and we found that out looking at some second-hand boats. So we decided straight away that a traditional stern wasn't for us. We've gone with a semi-trad.
It gives us a bit of flexibility.
And the reasoning for that is it gives us some space on the deck, gets the engine underneath the deck out of the way, and also at the same time, from the side of the boat, it still looks pretty traditional, because the sides of the boat extend all the way to the back. And our original thought was to go with a small cabin and then like a false cargo for the rest of the boat. So if it's effectively a steel triangle, which would cover with canvas.
And it would look like a traditional cargo area, but it would be our living area. And we always wanted a back cabin.
We stuck with that idea for quite a while. But I think over a period of time we started to realise that actually there's a lot of compromise in that. Compromise in terms of interior space and layout.
Because also we didn't want a big boat, did we?
No, that's the other thing is we've always liked small boats, hence the little Norman 23. And we're quite happy in small spaces. We don't need huge luxury.
We've been camping. We went from camping to a caravan to
a small camper.
A camper van. So we like that.
We're quite used
compact
to that.
Space.
So we decided that we wanted a boat. Now, the way that we went about figuring out what size of boat we wanted was we figured out the internal layout first. The internal layout, in its minimised size, brought the interior cabin space down to 30 feet.
It did. And then we just added on the front and the back.
And then the rest is just you add on the front and the back. Now, because we're going with a smaller boat, storage would be very important, particularly if we go continuous cruising when we retire. And one of the styles that we particularly like is a tug deck. And the tug deck gives you quite a lot of storage, both external and internal to the boat.
Oh, and also we have our beautiful greyhound. She's lovely, and she does struggle getting on and off boats.
She's a greyhound, so she's all legs and a bit sort of.
She's like, oh, I'm
not
a
quite
princess.
sure where her legs are at times.
So we thought that the tug deck
Would be much
is
easier.
such an easy way for her to get on and off the boat.
Yeah, it's a nice big flat surface.
Yeah,
where she
it
can
sort of ticked all our boxes.
Yep.
So then we started sitting down over a couple of drinks, designing our boat, planning the interior, adding on the front and the back. Windows, where you place your windows, oh my gosh, we had so many discussions over where windows
are
go.
a tricky thing, particularly on a small boat. If you've got a bigger boat, you can afford to space the windows out so that from the outside it looks quite nice and in proportion, which is great because you can afford to move things around internally to fit that. On a small boat, you can't.
Yeah.
The windows have to go where they are.
Yeah, every inch.
Yeah,
is important.
Every inch is important, and literally the placing of the windows is down to the inch.
Yeah.
And we don't have the space to move things around on that. So
But
the
we just didn't want to
interior
go
layout
bigger,
had to
did
be
we?
very precise before we could have the shell built.
So we went to various boat builders, and gave them our requirements and told them our ideas. And some unless it was a 57-foot reverse layout, just didn't want to know us.
I think
I
think some shell builders have got used to building 57-foot reverse layout boats.
Yeah.
And actually now to do anything else is a bit of a faff for them.
So some didn't understand what a tug style was, or the fact that we wanted
we did stay there
lower
very long.
gunnels, or it just sort of we went around and then we went back around, and it had to be the right boat builders for us. It had to be people that got us.
Now, as it happened, our friend with a very nice boat next to
marina.
us in the marina, his shell was built by XR&D, and having had a look at it, it was just gorgeous.
It ticked all the boxes.
Absolutely lovely. So they were the first people that we went to see.
We did when we had the idea of having a false cargo.
Yep.
And then we went around the houses because you just wanted to talk to more boat builders.
Yeah, you can't just go with the first person that you see because you've got to go and make sure that you're getting good value, or at least we did.
Yeah.
So you've got to have good value, you've got to have the right person in the right place to build your boat. Now we went all around, several boat builders, quite a lot of boat builders, and
we came back.
We ended up coming back.
Yeah.
Simply
it was a good
because
reaction, totally.
When we spoke to XR&D, Gary and Lee at XR&D, when we spoke to them, they got what we were trying to do.
They got us straight away. It was just like everything we said. Everything they said, we just nodded at.
Yeah.
And everything that we said, they nodded at.
Yeah.
And it
was very easy to talk to them. They knew exactly what we were trying to do. They gave us it was a good price. I mean, yes, it was on the expensive side of our budget, but I do believe that the quality is worth it.
Yeah. And also, we just knew that we would get the boat we wanted, and nothing was too much trouble. It was just, it was lovely.
She eyes today.
So we then said, yes, we'd like to book our slot, and paid our deposit, and then
we had to work really hard then to get our plans kind of in progress.
Yeah, from tiny little drawings on the back of beer mats almost, to to scale design.
Yeah, we gave them a scale drawing. It wasn't a professional drawing by any stretch of the imagination, but it was enough information for them to build from. And we were happy to let them do that because we knew that they would do it right. So that was it. Off we went. We got to our build slot. They started on our boat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where where we're going to leave it for now.
Our introduction. It was so nice seeing that. I mean, they sent us photographs all the way through.
Yeah.
But that very first picture where our base plate is down and our names are on it was just like, it really is going to happen now.
Yeah, it's a reality at that point.
Because it was sort of almost like 2 years in the process. We had to sell, we had to get, because we were updating Moonlight, we got to the point where we would sell her, and she helped fund the build. And so it was about 2 years before we actually got to where we were ready to go. And a good sort of, probably...
And also some extra time to save up money as well.
Some time just seeing all the boat builders. So, and just discussing what we wanted and deciding, and
And also it's quite, I mean for us anyway, it is, it's a lot of money to commit to a project. I know it's a very important project, and it is going to be our boat for a good long time.
And our home eventually.
And our home. But it's still, there's still that thing of it just takes a little bit to kind of push you over the edge to get you to spend that money.
So we knew it had to be the right people.
It just had to get to the right point where we were. And it was all good in the end.
Yeah,
but,
so pleased.
Yeah,
so
like I say,
pleased
we'll leave it as it is for now.
Yeah.